Yeah, against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active when defenders have been given like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, thank you very much for tuning back in. To those of you who on a regular basis watch my content. If you're here for the first time, make sure you're subscribing, smash the like button, and let's just get into it really and truly. And don't forget to let me know your thoughts on what we're about to go over. Now, Sammy Mokbel was tweeted a short while ago at 7:36 p.m. For context, I'm making this video at 10 to 10 p.m. obviously. He has said Arsenal have made an improved £41.5 million offer to Ajax for Timber. Arsenal hoping for positive conclusion in the coming days, in brackets reported by Romano earlier. Now, that's a follow-up tweet from a tweet he said earlier in which he said Arsenal close to agreeing personal terms with Ajax defender Timber, base salary close to 90,000 per week with incentives that could take wage towards 120 grand per week. Talks ongoing with West Ham over agreeing a fee for Rice. Now, this is lovely for several reasons. You know, we're obviously signing someone that's 22 years of age. They're not the finished article. Someone that you hear can play as a centre-half, can play as a right-back, maybe even play in midfield. Someone that's obviously capped for the Dutch national team, can play in the back four, can play in the back three. 22 years of age, people. You know, the pedigree is quite there. Being 22, obviously, he ties into what... He ties into what we're doing long-term as a football club. And obviously, only 11 players can start a game. Now, I do think fans don't really understand depth, and I think fans like to kind of play both sides in that when everybody's here and everyone's fit, fans start saying this guy's not getting the game time. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but fans start saying this guy's not getting game time. He could be moved on. They want everyone to get game time, but they also want us to be competitive, you know, and they kind of think it's all doom and gloom. We need a squad. I like his pedigree. You know, the man's a Dutch international, whatever you say about him. Benjamin White's an English international. Saliba is obviously a centre-half who is now making inroads into the French team and has been capped by them off the back of what he's done at Marseille last year and currently at Arsenal in the World Cup squad. Now, there's a Euros at the end of the season, this coming season, you know, and I'm sure all of them want to go into it, not just in the squad full stop, but in the best bit of form and just achieve stuff on the sporting front. If you're not doing your job, Mikel Arteta might not let you play. And also, while I don't think he's going to quite be Zinchenko, he is relatively good on the ball. And it now means Arteta can flirt with the inverted sort of right back role that we see Zinchenko doing, really and truly. So it's good news. And also in that where, wow, you know, I's haven't been dotted, T's haven't been crossed, players are not holding shirts in front of us fans. The quicker we can get some signings into the club, the quicker Arteta can work with them, the quicker we can try and have a season similar to what we've just gone, or better, really and truly. And then we can actually focus on outgoings and bringing in players. Good wages, you know, it's one that rewards him. Again, you'd assume he signs a 4 or 5 year deal. Within that time, you know, you'd imagine he gets an improved deal. 90 grand a week is probably going to put him nearer the higher earners of the football club, but isn't necessarily gonna break our wage structure. But at the same time, I'm no financial accountant. But if you look at it, he's on 90,000, rising to 20-odd thousand. Nelson and Nketiah have signed new deals recently, as have the star boys Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka. Talk about Odegaard, Benjamin White, Ramsdale potentially following them. Gabriel and Tierney not too long ago signed new deals. We still pay Partey's wages. Xhaka still on the books. You know, the Pepes, the Tavareses, the Lokongas will be here all day. You know, it kind of starts to plague on our resources, really. But step in the right direction, obviously, and hopefully we can bring Declan Rice to the Emirates. But again, let me know your thoughts. Until people are holding shirts, anything's up for debate. Sam Dean, people of the Telegraph, has said growing expectation that Arsenal will agree a deal with Ajax for Timber. Player is expected to cost £40 million. The Telegraph has also said they understand Mikel Arteta and Edu believe Timber is capable of playing as an inverted right back, tucking into midfield when Arsenal have possession. Timber would therefore be able to mirror the role played by Zinchenko, which, as much as I like Arteta and what he's done with players, and, you know, Edu getting a deal over the line, people are always quick to attack Edu rightly or wrongly, even though we don't always see what he's doing. I'm not necessarily going to praise you for that. That just tells me that you're buying a competent player in line with the system. You know, you look at any walk of life where you're employing people, you're not going to employ someone for the job that you feel is underemployed or cannot do what you need him to do, or the organization isn't going to work, is it? So it's lovely to have him, really, assuming it goes through. Of course, let me know your thoughts once again. So that would be lovely to see. Reports out of Holland, you know, Mike Vermeer, forgive me for mispronunciations, but, you know, well-respected journalist over in Holland. From what I hear, Arsenal and Ajax are getting closer to an agreement for Timber. Ajax want a total deal of 55 million euros, which include his bonuses. I expect things to get done within the coming days. So hopefully by the end of the week, you know, Havertz will officially be confirmed, people. Xavi Simons has been linked with us since the summer started, and more aggressively in the last 24 to 48 hours. Whether there's credibility in that, folks, is another thing. Nonetheless, allegedly a correspondent of PSV on the Telegraph over in Holland has said if Xavi Simons doesn't join Arsenal right now, he's likely to do so in the future. Not if he keeps putting in performances like this. Everyone's going to want him in it. Arsenal might be okay with him staying in Holland for another year. In brackets, saying if he's not joining now, there's a big chance he will in the future because of him appointing Darren Dean as his agent. Obviously, the son of a certain Dean who used to work for this football club. You know, he's young. He fits our remit. He's an exciting player. We played PSV in the two legs in the Europa League in the group stages. He ties into what we're doing. He's indirectly, while he's probably playing in more attacking positions this season at PSV, obviously he can play as an 8, actually, really and truly, as he's shown in his academy days. So it's clear to see for a variety of reasons why this man is linked. Do I think Arsenal are keeping tabs? Do I think Arsenal are interested? I do believe so. And I don't know, Edu, Arteta, your transfer targets. I just suspect with the areas that we need to introduce into our side, we probably need a bit more immediate experience with the resources we have available. Obviously, we know the Kroenkes earn a lot of money, but maybe the remit that we have to work with, or budget we have to work with for this season, says differently. I do think we'll keep tabs. For him, it's not necessarily the worst of things to stay at PSV, even though you've seen the manager in Ruud van Nistelrooy and a couple of your former teammates depart. You know, you've got Euros to think about. It is your first kind of breakout season where everyone's taking you in. Just cool off. I do think he's a player Arsenal admire. I'd love to be wrong and see him and someone else we've been linked with, Arda Güler, walk into the club tomorrow, but I just can't see it happening. It feels like the Declan Rices, the Lavias, people who might not necessarily be the most experienced. In Lavia's case, definitely not Declan. You get where I'm going, people. Allegedly, a picture is leaked of Kai Havertz actually in an Arsenal shirt. Now, in a day and age where people are great with Photoshop people, it's probably the worst kept secret, and one that, you know, I know we've just discussed Timber, but if there was to be an Arsenal signing announced in the next few days, hours, you'd imagine Havertz is done. We've seen our head doctor, apologies, Gary O'Driscoll, go over to Spain in line with where apparently Havertz is, probably to do the medical. Arsenal and Chelsea allegedly have agreed a fee. Personal terms have been concluded, and it's probably just a calm before the storm. He's enjoying what's left of his holiday, people. So I don't know if it's photoshopped or not, but nonetheless, that is Havertz, who I assume is going to wear the number 29. Hopefully he does the business. Now, Sky Sports has said Arsenal continue positive talks with West Ham over the signings of Declan Rice and are working behind the scenes on the next move. One source has told Sky Sports News Rice's preferred destination remains Arsenal. Doesn't really shed any light. Apparently there's an acceptance at West Ham that their next bid will actually be acceptable, people. Whether that is true is another thing, but at the same time, if West Ham accept a bid from Arsenal today, right now, and West and City equal it or better it, and they accept it, Rice has a decision to make. If Arsenal bid something that West Ham has said that is acceptable and they're agreeing on it, and City come out of nowhere, West Ham have a decision to make, really and truly, and Declan Rice has a decision to make. So we've heard this all before, in it. Talks are positive. An impending bid, both an improved, bid is pending from both Arsenal and a new one from City. Talks with this personal term in relation to personal terms. Who knows, really, at this moment in time? And I'm sure a lot of you are tired of it until we see something of significance. I'm sure people don't want to be bothered. Dharma Chef, however, has said of Sky Sports, Arsenal are going for it, brackets, in the market. Everyone at Arsenal seems to be on the same page. The board, Edu, Mikel Arteta, all working towards a common goal to make Arsenal potential title challengers, if not champions. That would be great, and I don't disagree with that. But that is also what they should be doing anyways, really. Positive talk, but when you break it down, that's the direction we should be trying to move in. If they couldn't do that, or any person wasn't in line, then going back to the real working life example, you wouldn't be in a job. I'm told positive talks are continuing between Arsenal and West Ham over the scenes of signing Declan Rice. They're working hard behind the scenes. One source is telling us that Rice's preferred destination as it stands remains Arsenal as it stands. So we'll have to see. Apparently, the Telegraph have said Arteta and Edu would be also interested in signing a second central midfielder. Probably cue the Lavia links, and actually, what's his name, Fufana today as well of Monaco, to be signed as well as Rice. If a buyer can be found for Thomas Partey, Arsenal remain interested in exploring a move for Caicedo, but are currently behind Chelsea in the race. Fabrizio Romano allegedly has said recently Chelsea have an agreement with Caicedo now for talks with Brighton. So I assume that means personal terms. Allegedly, Sky Sports has said Arsenal value Balogun at £50 million. It's thought the player wants a permanent departure from Arsenal. We have been linked, like a lot of clubs, with Yunus Musa, and this isn't directly correlated to Arsenal, but apparently Valencia are open to selling Musa this summer after they turned down all approaches last January, including a verbal bid from Chelsea. Apparently, it will take a €20 million fee to sign him. People who did well at the World Cup. We've also been linked with Kudus again in the last few hours, but again, everyone's going to get linked with everyone. 99.9% of the rumors appear to be BS. Apparently, Arda Güler, for what it's worth, though, has a release clause of €17.5 million, and I think it's worth the money. I really think he's good. Ajax, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal allegedly are all interested in the young Turkish international. Apparently, his father wants 18 to 20 million euros in commission. I couldn't blame him, but you know, reports love to come out like that. We don't know. Again, you have to really look at the credibility of these journalists. I don't know who is talking what, but allegedly, Arsenal are still in the race to sign Kudus, people of Ajax, another Ajax player. And he, you know, Arsenal join Everton, Man United, Tottenham, and Newcastle in the race for his signature. Now, just 24 hours ago, there was aggressive links to Brighton, and you can see why he'd be a great player for Brighton. We were linked with him off the back of the World Cup, and I think we saw David Ornstein give a report on Arsenal holding interest in this individual, but everybody's interested in everyone, people. Placing bids and things of that ilk is a completely different thing. So yeah, man, don't forget to tell me your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button and all of that. Hope you're all having a great start to the week, people. One love.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like